It's my privilege to announce that in the early hours of this morning, the Western Australian Police Force rescued Cleo Smith. Cleo is alive and well. A police team broke their way into a locked house in Carnarvon at about 1 a.m. They found little Cleo in one of those rooms. One of the officers picked her up into his arms and asked her, "What's your name?" She said, "My name is Cleo." Cleo was reunited with her parents a short time later. This is the outcome we all hoped and prayed for. It's the outcome we've achieved because of some incredible police work, and I want to thank Cleo's parents, the Western Australian community, and all of the volunteers. And of course, I want to thank my colleagues in the Western Australian Police Force.
What happened was there was a detective's car there was about two, and we was down the road, and then two jumped out, and then they walked in there about 10 or 11, something like that, but they ended up finding her inside there, yeah.
And how frantic were they sort of going into the house when they executed that search warrant?
No, we wasn't too sure, yeah, we stayed our distance, yeah, we stood back and we waited, but then after that, we seen someone, on the detective's shoulder. We thought it might be that little girl now, which it was, yeah. So then I went closer to the detective's car, yeah, and I saw her in the back of the car, yeah, with the detective who was holding her, yeah.
And when you saw her in the back of the car, what was going through your mind?
I was a bit shocked too at the same time, yeah, because the person is in our street, yeah, yeah, we walk around here, yeah, and what we do best.
And we won't reveal the name of the individual that you're neighbours with, but can you give some insight into what they're like?
Neighbours, they quiet and that there, they do their own thing, but everyone, they know the person who stays at that house there, they wouldn't think about, or wouldn't thought about it would be him or something, yeah. But we got a shock ourselves that it was him, yeah.
And, she's been there, we believe, for up to 3 weeks. Yeah. Did you have any sign that anyone might have been taken there? Was there anything suspicious that piqued your interest over those 3 weeks?
Yeah. Other day, I think it was Monday, we saw him in the Woolworths there buying Kimbies and that, but we didn't click on who it was, or what he was buying it for, who he was buying it for, yeah. But until now,
And are there things sort of popping into your mind now, that little things over the past 3 weeks that, that spark of inspiration, that might have been something, the reason why Cleo could have been there? Is there anything else that's coming to mind now when you cast your mind back that could have given you a hint as to what was happening just next door?
Yeah, could have, but wasn't too sure about that.
I mean, you live right next door to this individual. What can you tell us about him and what's he like? And do you have any sign in the past few days that Cleo could have been kept here?
I don't really know, because all I seen was just drove past his house, and that was a bit not in place.
And tell me more about that driving. So when we was driving, that was suspicious?
Yeah, it was suspicious. He went straight past his house around. He got to the corner, and then he just took off really, fast. It wasn't the speed.
How did he take off? In which direction was he going? And what time was this going on?
So in the afternoon around
3?
1, 2, 3, yeah. Just go up and down past his house, but he'll make sure you have a look at his house first. Yeah, just instead of us, they keep an eye out. But he looked a bit suspicious out of the way he was cruising up and down. Yeah, but the boys and I seen him at the Woolworths the other day.
And so detectives have been going in and out of this home this morning as well. The forensic investigation is still very much ongoing and the police operation hasn't slowed down. Have police spoken to you guys and asked you for any information on your neighbour?
No, the police haven't spoken to us yet. Just morning, we were going to come and have a chat with them.
But,
I just
a lady said there was no comments.
Yeah.
Mm. And so when you think now, what kind of help if they ask you for any information on him, and if I was an investigator right now saying, what was suspicious happening over the past few days, what would you tell that investigator?
All I know is about him driving past.
And what car does he drive? Because we know at the moment that police, over the past 3 weeks, there was a car seen driving from the Blowholes campsite at the time when Cleo disappeared. And it was meant to be a small passenger vehicle. What car did you see him driving?
Like that one parked up in the driveway.
Yeah, which one? Can you point it out for us and we'll have a look?
It's beyond these grass.
It's behind the grass there. So it's one of the, so what she's gesturing to is she's gesturing to that Mazda in the driveway there. Now, we're not certain that that is the vehicle, but it does match, at least to some description, the description that police issued of a passenger vehicle, not a high-level four-wheel drive that are typically seen at that Blowholes campsite. We're actually now starting to see some more neighbours going through, taking a look and still coming to terms with the amazing sort of revelations that have come outside of this house this morning. But this will very much remain a crime scene for the term to come.